Hi guys, so welcome to another episode of our Becoming a Cloud Contact Center Engineer series. In today's video, we are going to talk about agent management, right? How to create users, and then we will proceed to talk about security profiles, and then we'll wrap up with some of the available agent statuses. This is very important because if you have a contact center, one of the key things you'll be working with is your agents, right? How then do we manage our agents? In our previous video, we talked about routing profiles, and you got to realize that routing profiles contain queues, right? That is the waiting area, or which defines the kind of calls that agents will be able to handle. So now we are going to talk about agents. So on our console, we will simply come to this user, and then I'll first start with security profiles. So when we talk about security profiles, just understand security profiles to be permissions, right? It talks about the permissions our users in our Amazon Connect instance or in our contact center have. So there are lots of available permissions that you can choose from, right? So for example, if you have a contact center by default, Connect gives you the administrator access. It gives people access to be administrators. It gives some access to be just agents, contact center managers, and then QA folks, right? That's quality analyst. So depending on the permissions, that shows what you can do in your contact center. So if I take the admin for example and I come inside, we can see all the permissions that is listed in the admin security profile name, right? So if I click in here, we can see that the admin is allowed to do virtually everything in our Amazon Connect, that's in our contact center. You're able to view routing profiles, you're able to edit them, create them, and all. Yes, now flows, you're able to create flows, publish flows, do whatever there is. So that's pretty much what security profiles are. So depending on your contact center, you look at your various users. If you have supervisors, if you have, say, however the names you want to give them, right? Depending on how you want to group your users, the permissions, the access that you want to grant them, you manage them by security profiles. What you can do is to add a new security profile. If you want to create your own custom security profiles, you click on this and then you choose from the available permissions, right? So you just click on select. If you want anything, you just select the ones you want to select, and all. Yeah, you just select, and then that pretty much. So depending on the permissions that you are looking for, you can just select it for your agents and then you proceed. So this is security profiles. Now the next thing I'm going to quickly talk about, which ties with the security profiles, are the users. So this is very important. How do we create users? Because we are storing, if you remember from the beginning, we said we were going to store our users in Connect itself, right? So during the first few episodes, I created these couple users. This was the admin user and this was what I created for the test. Yeah, but again, if I want to create a user, I can simply click on this create user. So I can call this one user 2, then call it Kobina, right? Yes, because we are storing the user and everything in Connect, I can proceed to define virtually everything. So say my username is Kobina. I can enter an email address. Yes, and then some of these fields are optional, so I can leave them. Then I'll set my password, right? Yeah. Now look at the settings. You see, remember I said every user can have a routing profile. So remember I said by default there is a basic routing profile in the account. So for this tutorial, I'm just using the basic routing profile, which I've associated my queues, my educational queue and then the finance queue too. Then I'll select the security profile. One person can have multiple security profiles. Say I want this user to have the admin and then the contact center. The moment I have admin, by default I have every permission that the contact center agent has. So I'm just going to remove that. And here I'll then define if I want them to use the soft phone. When we say soft phone in Connect, is this then, right? Soft phone is pretty much having this virtual phone, and then where they can answer calls, right? This phone, when they can answer calls, they can decline or do whatever they want to do. So this is the soft one. Or if I want them to be able to probably connect to a desk phone that they have, so that all calls that comes to this agent will be answered through that, so I can select that. For this tutorial, I'm going to be working with the soft phone, so just this. And then if I want auto accept, if I want every call that gets routed to this agent to be auto accept, I can enable that. And then if I want, there is something you call ACW, that's after contact work. After contact work is pretty much the time that the agent have to wrap up after a call with any customer or any person. So I can define all that. If I'm working with agent hierarchies, that if I want to group my agents based on certain things, I can select all those things and then leave that. We are not doing that. That's a bit advanced. So we are not doing that in this series for now. In subsequent videos, I'm going to talk about all that. But for this part or this time of the series, you are going to maintain this. And then I'll proceed to click on save user. Alright, so as you can see, this is my user, Copina 2, and then that is it. So if I want to let me try and then log in into my account using that user, and then we will see what's happening. So I'm going to open in Cognito. Hopefully I remember my username and my password. Okay, let me see. It was Cobina. Okay. So there you have it. You see, I've been able to log in into my account using this. Alright, so I've been able to log in into my account, Cobina, right, as the agent. So because I have an admin permission, that's why you see most of these things. So I can play with your security profiles to understand what that user can do. Yeah, now let me go back to my main page again. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the last thing for this video, which is going to be agent statuses. Agent statuses pretty much define the state, right, of the agent. So for you to be able to manage your call center well, you want the agent to be able to say have breaks, they probably have meetings, they have things. What you can do is to create agent statuses for them. So for example, if I want to have a status for meetings, right, I can have them in there, click on save, and then we'll have that status in here. So you see this is a meeting. By default, we have the available and then offline. Offline means the agents are offline, and available means this. So I can add whatever custom status that I see. So now if I come in here and I click on this, so now I see these two. Let me try reloading this page. Sometimes it will require you to sign off first before it takes shape or effect. So let me simply reopen this. Hopefully at this time around you see it. Let me come refresh this page. Hopefully it doesn't. You have to allow, yeah, if you want to use those features. So you can see now there is meeting attached to this. So this is the new system that I've created. So this is something small you have to know as you work on your contact center stuff on Amazon Connect. That's how you create your agent statuses and then manage them. Yeah, so in the next video we are going to talk more about this PCs, the hours of operation, the queues and routing profiles and all the things that we've created to create our own contact center from scratch, and then tie all those tiny pieces all together and then see them in action. So see you in that next video. Thank you so much for watching, and do all to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you.